John Bryson, Carlton Town TV, sponsored by Aerocom. I'm here at Carlton Town's ground with Paul McGregor, a Forest legend, I would say.
Fair
enough.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
Was that your first love, Forest?
Yeah, I was with Forest ever since I was a kid. So
Are you a Nottingham man, are you?
I'm not a man yet.
Well,
I don't think I'll ever be a man.
Physically,
never
you are.
fixed a car in my life. I think that's the grade you need to be a man. I was family from Liverpool, so I grew up. I was in Bootle until I was 3, and then we had to move down to Nottingham, work, etc., etc. So we go back up to Liverpool for Christmases and all that kind of thing. So I kind of, up until the age of about 11, when I went to Comp, I was like, holidays were all in Liverpool and in Nottingham. So I kind of grew up in between. Went to school in Nottingham, but all that going back up to Liverpool sort of fell away when I was 11. All my family's still there. I've grown up in Nottingham essentially.
And you were a schoolboy you played for schoolboy level?
Gosh, All Whites and Sandy Acre Town were my first.
Yeah.
All Whites were a Saturday team.
Yeah.
My dad got me into them. I played a year above. Richard Lyburn was in that team actually. We had a good side. And Sandy Acre Town, I played for Pheasant Colts, Little River Dazzlers, South Notts Colts, South Notts Boys, Nottinghamshire Boys, all that sort of stuff.
When did Forest come across you?
I was playing for Forest Boys, so I had to leave my Sunday team to go and play, which was Sandy Acre, to go and play for Forest Boys, because they put a team in the league.
Yeah.
So it was a club side, but you weren't really affiliated with Forest, there was nothing signed. But scouts kept coming to the games, and we were going to trials, so we were having trials most weekends. And then one week I was just starting to score. I'd always scored goals, and I just started to score an awful lot. And one day after, we played on a Sunday, and I remember it was really drizzly. There was rumours that Brian Clough had turned up. So we're out in the car park, and my dad always says there was a Tottenham scout in the car, like with his window ready to come over after everyone was milling around to catch us. And Brian Clough just comes out of the mist with Alan Hill and Alan Clark. Like, you're signing for me today? You're signing for Brian Clough today, son? So I ended up signing, got a form out. Illy gave us a pen, and I signed on the back of my dad's core team and schoolboy forms. I was 14 at Gresham.
19.
Oh, behave, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some years ago.
Fair enough. And how long were you with the Forest in total, from signing to when you moved on?
Well, I signed at 14 in order to then, at 15 and a half when I left school, to be an apprentice.
Yeah.
So they tied me up really, and I left at, I think, 24.
Now, I'm told you played in Europe with the Forest. Where was it, Lyon, Munich?
Yeah, I was in that that great squad. I was lucky enough to be in that amazing squad that, the year Stan Collymore was breaking through when Stan was there. And we managed to finish third, or they managed to finish third. I was milling around, wasn't really much of a squad player, which put us in Europe.
Yeah.
And I kept coming through and kept knocking on the door, and managed to be a part of Frank Clark's plans at that time. I was lucky enough to play with all those legends.
It was a good team. I remember
it was a fantastic
side. It was
side,
a good side, Forest.
Genuinely one of the great Forest sides, I would
obviously.
say.
Now, we've moved slightly because Andy Wilson today, you're involved in setting up this match. How did you first meet Andy?
Well, I've known Andy on and off for years. We played in. He knows all the lads from the Sikh Lions, who I played with the Vets Sikh Lions for 2 years. I've recently gone back to Sandy Acre Town because it's my first ever club, and I can feel myself winding down now. They're miles away as well. They're great lads though. I love them to bits. But I've gone to Sandy Acre Town. But Andy knows all those boys, and he plays with us. We all play on a Tuesday night as well, still having a kick about. Daft old lads. So I've known Andy on and off for a long time, and funnily enough, I coach Gedlin Southbank girls because my daughter plays.
Yeah.
And I saw his daughter play for Priory Celtic. I didn't know it was his daughter, and she's a tall girl, really quiet strength to her, and I thought, I really like. She's got presence, and something you can't really teach at that young age.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. And then I saw him on the touchline. I was like, mate, how you doing? He was like, oh, my daughter plays. I was like, which one is it? He was like, the one in the Copa Mundials. He makes his daughter wear Copas, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's brilliant. I was like, any chance of her coming over? It took me a year, but I managed to get hold of her.
Yeah.
So she's now playing with us. So I see him all the time now. And obviously, those guys have been through what they've been through, and a few of the lads have sort of rallied around Wilson and sort of said, oh, let's do a charity game. Rainbows have been fantastic.
From personal knowledge, I live in Loughborough.
Yeah.
And I've known people who work for Rainbows, and I always sing the praises. They do things that I mean, I've never been involved from a domestic side, but the work they do, I can't do it. I really couldn't. It's amazing what they do.
I can't. It's something I have no authority to talk about, and I don't really want to talk about what the family have been through. I can't imagine going through what they've gone through. But we've rallied round Andy, and Andy always says, he's fine as long as he's busy.
Yes.
So we've kept him busy.
Yeah.
And he's been phenomenal. He's been amazing, and I have to say, Neve is just what a girl. What a girl. Love it to bits.
She plays now for you still, does she?
Yeah, Neve plays
what's your
in
view
Southbank.
about ladies football? Because my personal view here is that you know better than me. I think the success last year and this year has given the game. I talk to people who looked at ladies football 16 months ago.
I
you
love
see
it.
a big,
I absolutely love it.
Swell in increase in interest in the country.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's come from the most natural place: girls playing, girls loving it, and girls playing. You can't deny it. The crowds will go up. Girls enjoy it as much as anybody. They're super competitive. It's a different game. That's my opinion.
I would agree, because people say it's
like tennis.
It's like
say you get idiots going, oh well, that tennis player wouldn't beat that tennis player. The female wouldn't be the man. It's like, so what? It's a different game. They play it differently. Same rules. It's played differently.
Well, you're talking to a tennis fan here, and mixed doubles. At professional level works, but certainly with the women, there was what's described to me as the Raducanu bounce, and it's still taking place where people are young girls are picking rackets up. And I feel the same in football. That's just my theory. But as you say, you can't compare a ladies singles to a men's singles, just as you can't compare ladies football, ladies football, men's. But
the previous World Cup really got me into women's football.
Which was where was that?
I forget. But I was a bit like. I was one of those people, I'll admit it, where I was watching, I was going, the standard's not great. The standard's all right, but the goalkeeping standard's not brilliant, and you've only got to hit the ball high. I still think there's an argument for a slightly smaller goal. Yeah. Personally. Yeah. But then I just sunk into it and started watching it, and I started to notice the differences between the games, and I fell in love with it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I think it's equally as entertaining. I think it's got every potential to be just as commercially successful, and so it should be. So it should be.
It's a pleasure meeting you.
And to you.
I was briefed for a Forest man. Will you be polite to me? I was a Leicester City man. But closing, did you play many times at Leicester? Because it would have been
probably, but I've blocked it out of my memory.
All right. With that, thanks very much. Take care.
Pleasure.
Thank you.